Afghanistan, a laboratory of gender apartheid and the silence of the world. While the world speaks of women's rights, gender equality, and human dignity, Afghanistan under Taliban rule has become one of the most brutal examples of the organized suppression of women in the 21st century. What is being imposed on Afghan women today is not merely a set of social or religious restrictions. It's a political project aimed at eliminating women from public life and reducing them to second class citizens. Over the past nearly 5 years, the Taliban have systematically deprived women of education, employment, political participation, civic engagement, and free presence in public spaces. Girls have been denied the right to attend secondary school and university. Thousands of women have lost their jobs, and their most basic individual freedoms have been placed under constant uh, surveillance by security and religious authorities. On 9th of June, after dozens of girls and women in Herat were arrested on charges of improper hijab, a group of women and men took to the streets in the Jibrail district of Herat. Images circulated on social media showed Taliban forces violently suppressing the protesters. Videos of gunfire, beatings, and the pursuit of demonstrators once again revealed the true nature of a regime that seeks its survival in silencing every voice of dissent. Yet the repression of women in Afghanistan is not limited to street arrests or the denial of education, denial of education. In recent years, the Taliban have sought to impose total control over women's bodies, private lives, and social relations, access to parks, restaurants, recreational centers, public events, and even many ordinary daily activities has become increasingly restricted and dangerous. Numerous reports of violence by the Ministry for the Propagation of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice against Women demonstrate that gender-based control has become one of the central pillars of Taliban governance. The oppression of women in Afghanistan extends beyond the denial of education, employment, and public presence by removing or disregarding legal protections for women and children. The Taliban have created conditions that enable the continuation of early and forced marriages. At a time when many countries are strengthening legal safeguards for children, Taliban policies have effectively paved the way for the perpetuation of this cycle of violence. In a society where women lack access to education, economic independence, and legal protection, early marriage is not a choice but a form of structural violence that deprives girls of childhood, education, and the right to determine their own futures. Their own futures. The control of women's education, employment, dress, and marriage are not isolated policies. They are interconnected components of a political project designed to control women's bodies and reproduce patriarchal domination. What is unfolding in Afghanistan is not merely discrimination, it's a form of gender apartheid, just as racist regimes in the past determined citizens' rights based on skin color. The Taliban define access to rights, opportunities, and freedom based on gender. To be a woman in Afghanistan today is to face a daily reality of prohibitions, deprivations, and multiple forms of structural violence. In this context, the silence and inaction of much of the international community raise serious questions. States that present themselves as defenders of human rights are simultaneously pursuing pursuing various channels of engagement and normalization with the Taliban. This contradiction reveals that in the current global order, women's rights are often sidelined in favor of security, economic, and geopolitical considerations. Afghan women have once again become the victims of deals and negotiations conducted without their presence or consent. Despite all repression, the resistance of Afghan women continues, from street protests to underground educational initiatives, from women's solidarity networks to diverse forms of civil resistance, all demonstrate all demonstrate that the project of erasing women has not fully succeeded despite widespread violence. Afghan women are not passive victims, they are the primary agents in the struggle for freedom and equality. Today, defending the women of Afghanistan is not merely a national issue, it's a test of the credibility of the global women's rights movement, progressive forces, and advocates of social justice worldwide. If the world remains silent in the face of the systematic elimination of half a country's population, concepts such as equality, freedom, and human rights will be reduced to empty slogans. Afghanistan today is not only the geography of a human catastrophe, it's a mirror reflecting the extent to which the world remains committed to the values it claims to uphold. International Women's Solidarity Council, the 16th of June 2026. Till next video and text, bye.